The world of search is evolving at a lightning speed. Google is already integrating AI-generated results, and platforms like Perplexity and OpenAI are shaking things up. But one thing that hasn't changed is the need for solid keyword research to create relevant content for YouTube, blogs, and beyond. The problem, however, is that traditional SEO tools are extremely expensive and out of reach for many content creators and small businesses. But what if there was a way to do automated, powerful keyword research for a fraction of the cost? In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to build that. I'm going to highlight an incredible workflow automation with n8n that one of my talented community members, Wayne, who is an SEO expert, created that makes keyword research faster, easier, and extremely cheap. First, I'll download the workflow and give you a brief overview, and then I'm going to let Wayne do a step-by-step details walkthrough of this amazing automation that he created. So make sure you stick around till the end of this video because you can use this for personal use, or you can actually sell this for a small business and make a lot of money with it. So without any further delay, let's jump right in. Alright, so I'm on my blank n8n workflow. So let's go ahead and change the name first. I'm going to name it Full SEO Automation. And then I'm going to head over to my school AI workshop school community, go to the classroom section and grab this workflow. I think it was the first one. Yep, right here. So I'm going to just download this JSON file, download. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and just upload it to my n8n instance here. Import from file. All right, perfect. So what's happening here, again, this looks a bit complicated, but it's actually a really well thought of workflow. And again, Wayne will do a really good job of explaining how the different node works. He'll walk you through step by step and then tell you how each of the system works. But essentially what's happening is we're getting a keyword. Let me actually zoom in a little bit here. So we're getting the main keyword from template from this Google Sheet. We're creating a new folder to copy that template. And then afterwards, we're going to make API calls to grab related keywords and then add them to a separate Google worksheet. We're going to get keyword suggestions for new SEO content through the API request that we're going to do. And then we're also going to get keyword ideas. We're going to get autocomplete and get subtopics. Again, this is a very useful SEO keyword research because what this does is completely eliminates the high cost that, for example, Ahrefs is one of the most popular SEO keyword tools that people use, but it's extremely expensive. So for small businesses and content creators, as you can imagine, that's completely out of reach. So this is what it does. This uses the, through SERP, it gets results. And then also all of these different workflow systems that you see here is all done via API calls. So that's what makes this extremely cheap. And as you can see, there's not a lot of AI tools used either because this is unnecessary. If there's no need for AI agents, if there's no need for utilizing tokens, then you don't need to use that. So this just eliminates all of those costs that might come in if you're using any kind of AI tools or AI nodes, because if you're running this constantly, then those tokens can add up to the cost. So that's why, like I said, this is probably the cheapest way you can utilize and grab like keyword for new content, blog, or for small businesses. So that's why this is such a game changer. So again, I'm actually gonna not go through too much detailing. I'm gonna let Wayne go through and step by step and explains because he does a way better job than I do. And like I said, he's an SEO expert, so he gives you better details as far as what the use cases are and why this is such a powerful automation. So without any delay, I'm gonna go ahead and play in video. Enjoy. Make sure you stick around till the end, like I said, because it's gonna be a super powerful workflow that you can utilize. And then also, if you have any questions, you can jump into the thread here where there's a great discussion going on, and you can always grab and use this workflow as a base template to create your own. All right, so let's go ahead and watch Wayne do his thing.
Hello, my name is Wayne Ergel. Welcome to this video. I think we'd all agree that the world of search is evolving very fast. Recently, Google started adding AI-generated results to their search pages. Perplexity and OpenAI offer AI-driven alternatives, so things are changing pretty quickly. But one thing that hasn't changed is the need for keyword research. To make relevant content, whether it's an article for a website or YouTube video, we need to know what people are searching for and why. But of course, there's a problem, especially up until now, and that is pricing. It was very costly and time-consuming. So this is SEMrush pricing and Ahrefs, and those are the two most popular traditional SEO tools. And I'm not saying that they're not great tools, but I think the market they serve is different than the entrepreneur or the small business owner or the content creator, the blog writer, the YouTube channel creator. It's just a lot of money to spend to get keywords and get ideas for content. So what if you had a platform that could create your own fast, efficient keyword research solution for a fraction, and I do mean a fraction, of the cost of traditional platforms? And that's what I'm going to cover in this video, which is part of a series, and I'll show you exactly how to create an automated n8n workflow using a platform called DataForSEO that gives us the SEO data. So what we're going to cover today is DataForSEO. I'm going to go over a little bit about that, do a demo of the workflow, and then a live build of part of it. So what is DataForSEO? And here's their website. It's a powerful API stack for data-driven marketers. They provide comprehensive SEO and digital marketing data solutions via API. And that's the thing. And as you guys know, if you can get to an API, then you can do just about anything you want. So the thing about them is all your data is now in one place, and that data includes SERP data, keyword data, backlink analysis, rank tracking, SEO analysis, all kinds of stuff. There's YouTube search data. So it's just about any type of search data that you would want. There's an endpoint built for it, an API, and you can use n8n to get to it. So I'd say just in general, DataForSEO is basically a huge database of search-related data with API endpoints that give you access to the data, and instead of a subscription, it's a pay-as-you-go. So speaking of their pay-as-you-go, when I started back on December 4th, 2024, I started with $5. Right now I still have $1.35 in this fraction. All of that is after doing tons of API requests as I built this workflow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through it, give you a demo, and we'll take a look at how much it costs to do it, and that'll give you a real feel for it. But I would predict that if I'm at 1.35 after I run it and get nearly 200 things, keywords, ideas for content, I'd be down to about $1.25, something like that. So what we're going to do now is take a look at an actual demo of it, and you'll see what the workflow can do. Before I do that, just very quickly, this is my Google Drive. I have an SEO folder. Inside it, I have a keyword research folder. The workflow creates a folder with the main keyword in the name and the date, and then inside that is a Google Sheet. So you'll see that here in just a moment. And now to jump over to the workflow, this is it. I'll go ahead and run it and explain it as it's going. So basically what's happened, I'm getting my keyword, which in this case is AI SEO, creating a copy or creating a folder with the name of the keyword and the date in the name, copying my template file, setting fields that I use throughout the workflow, and then running through the different DataForSEO API endpoints. So this one gets me the search results, and then the people also ask for. So I'm making a call to it and then putting that into my main Google Sheet, which I'll show you here once the workflow is completed. Then there are similar workflows, or I shouldn't say that, similar parts of the workflow to get things like related keywords. So again, making an API call, stored it in a Google Sheet. Get keyword suggestions, making an API, storing it in a Google Sheet. Get keyword ideas, making an API call, and storing it in a Google Sheet. Get autocomplete results, stored in a Google Sheet, and get subtopics. And this one's a different one. It's not your traditional keyword research. DataForSEO has a semantic search algorithm that gives you a lot of information, but this in particular will give you 10 subtopics based on the keyword that you use. So it gives you 10 content ideas based on that keyword. Okay, so the workflow ran. I'm going to go back and take a look or show you what happened. So here, as I mentioned, I'd have a new folder. This is AI SEO keyword research folder. Nice thing about this is it gives the same naming format so that you you're not lost next week when you try to figure out where you put your keyword research. And then inside it is the spreadsheet, again using that same naming convention, and then we'll take a look at the sheet itself. So this is, let it all open up, this is the master sheet inside this Google Sheet, and it's all the different keyword variations that we got. So I'm just going to quickly run through the tabs, or the sheets. The first one are the search results. So here we're finding organic search results, the domain, the URL, the title, the description of each one of them. So you have that at your disposal. And then the related keywords, this gave us 27, 28 keywords. These are related, as I said. These are all the different types of the different results. The search volume, search intent, keyword difficulty, competition, and CPC. You'll see when I go through the workflow that you get a ton of data, more data than you probably want. This just happens to be the things that I picked out and I think are probably most important. So again, here we are with suggested keywords. This is the keyword itself, the suggested one, the monthly search volume, search intent, keyword difficulty, and competition. Same thing for keyword ideas. We get people also ask, autocomplete, and the subtopics that I mentioned. So again, the main keyword here is AI SEO, and one of the subtopics is understanding AI and SEO. So you can create a video or blog post about that, and the same with all of these. So going back to the master tab, these are all the data that was pulled, and what you'll see in my next video is a workflow that uses an AI agent to analyze this data, categorize it, and then cluster it, and then give content ideas. So one of the things it looks for is a high search volume with a relatively low keyword difficulty, and that's where the AI power comes in to be able to analyze that stuff for us and then give suggestions of, you know, this is a low-hanging fruit type keyword, and also it gives a suggested title and a short description. So you could take that and write a blog post or do a video very quickly. So that's the demo. I'm going to wrap that up now and then go back to build part of the workflow, and I'll show you more about how to connect to DataForSEO, what it needs, and the data that you can get from it. Okay, hopefully that demo made sense. Now I'm going to jump into building the workflow. One thing I want to just point out real quick. Here is how much it costs to do that run. I may have done one other one afterwards, but my first balance was 1.35 and now it's 1.306, so in the neighborhood of a nickel to get all of that data. So I think that's pretty good. So jumping ahead into building the workflow, there are really two keys, and one is setting up the credential. It's a little different than anything I've done. Maybe you're used to this, but I wasn't. So you of course go to DataForSEO and create an account. I think they give you $1, maybe $5 to get started, which, as I've said, was a lot for me. I haven't used it all up yet. I got $5. So anyway, so you create your account, and then you DataForSEO. Let me see if I can get this a little bigger. Is using what they call, I guess it's basic authentication, which is how you authenticate, and the gist of it is that your unique API token needs to be passed in the authorization header, and the authorization comes from your login and password. Now here, let me get that back, get my cursor. If you'll go to your dashboard, you'll have an API login, and for me this is my email. I don't know why I blurred that out. But anyway, that's the login, and then password is automatically generated. It's not the same as the account password that you created when you created an account. And you need to get it sent to you by email which I found a little strange, but that is what you do. So this will be your email address that you use to set up the account. This is an assigned password. Get them to send it to you via email. Then you're going to go to a site like this. I just did a search for base64 encode and this came up. You're going to take your email and your password that was emailed to you. So your name .company.com, however your email is structured, a space, then that password that they gave you, and then press encode. And once you do that, it'll give you a result here. So this is the site. So yeah, this is the site. I've pasted in my email and password, and this is my encoded result. So take that encoded result, and that's this base64 authentication. So now when you go to create an authentication, you can name it whatever you want, of course, but the name is authorization and the value is that base64 set of characters that you got from this base64 website. And then when you're using an API request, the method's going to be post. I'll show you this in the workflow. You'll have the URL that you're going to. The credential is a generic type because it's not built into or not integrated with n8n. Header authentication, and then the name of your header authentication for DataForSEO. So I hope that made sense. So going into the next step, or the next bit, if you recall, I had a bunch of sort of boxes here where I was getting related keywords, keyword suggestions, keyword ideas, that kind of thing. I'm just going to go over just this first part and then build out this how to get keyword suggestions and show you the documentation from DataForSEO. So the first thing we're doing, this is a manual trigger. I'm getting from my Google Sheets account, I'm getting my keyword template document. This happens to be the name of it. And in that document is the main keyword that I want to do keyword research for, the location, and the language and the limit. So those are used in your API calls. Next, creating a new folder. So this is a Google Drive node where you're creating a folder. So create folder, giving it the name. I'm using the main keyword, so in this case it's AI SEO. Typed in the words keyword research and then the date formatted the way I like it. So now it's going to create a folder called AI SEO keyword research and the date today, which is January 6, 2025. Then I'm going to copy that file. I'm going to copy that Google Sheet. So this is the ID of the original template. I'm going to copy it, and so that I copy all the sheets within it which have the different keyword variations like ideas, related keyword suggestions, that kind of thing. Again, using my keyword as the first part of the name, keyword research, and the date. It's not being copied in the same folder, and it's using the ID of the parent folder. Okay, so that gets us the spreadsheet, or the Google Sheet. Now we come to the first request here. This one's already built out to get related keywords. So this is an API call to DataForSEO. And you'll see here, and this is the real key to everything. Well, two keys. First of all, let me go show you the documentation for this. So the real key to DataForSEO are these documents, DataForSEO docs, and these are all the API endpoint document. So you'll see here that there's documents or APIs for the SERPs, for keywords data, domain analytics, and then there's this data for SEO labs. Not exactly sure why it's labs, but this is where the stuff is. So if you click on Google and then under keyword research, you click here on related keywords, it tells you what this does. So what it's saying here is this endpoint provides keywords appearing in the searches related to the SERP element. You can get 4,680 keyword ideas by specifying depth. So you can see there's a lot of stuff here. But what you're going to do, and this is what it's going to look like here in our HTTP node in n8n, is request the data. So we're requesting a keyword. You can see their example is phone. The example language name is English. The location code for them, the way they did it here in the documents, they used a number. I used a name. So you do want to give it at least these three things. And presumably you'd want to do the search for your name. I'm in the United States, so that's what I used. And then here's the stuff you get back. And as you can see just by the scroll bar size here, there is a ton of stuff, including search volume by month for each one of the keywords, each one of the related keywords, and it just gives you a ton of information. So if we go back to our workflow, we can see that, just gotta see where I am here. You can see that here, as I've mentioned earlier, I've got a lot of stuff open and a lot of data. So again, tons and tons of information, but I'm splitting out the fields, and what I want to do is get the results. And when you do that, you get the long list of keywords, in this case the related keywords. And so here we're setting some fields that are going to be used to populate the sheet in the Google Sheet. So here are those fields. You've got the main keyword, the type, again this is related, the monthly search volume, search intent, competition, keyword difficulty, the keyword itself, and the CPC. So that we're setting our fields there, and then we're adding those to the sheet for the related keywords in my keyword sheet. So that would be related keywords. So and actually I've run this a couple times, and I think there's some duplicates here, but anyway, so it's putting it into that sheet. So going back to the workflow, it's putting it into that sheet. Now I want to put it into the master sheet within the main sheet. So, and that's what this node does. I'm setting the ID, taking the keyword, the type, the keyword itself. This was the main keyword, which was our original search keyword, search intent, keyword difficulty, and competition. So all of that would go into the master sheet, sheet within the Google Sheet. I don't know what they call it. I'm so used to Excel. So anyway, why don't we build out another part of this workflow. So we need a HTTP. I'm going to put that down here. Now we've got to go to our documentation here, and I've already pulled up the keyword suggestion, so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to take this URL, which is the endpoint, and paste that in. Make sure we set this to post. And authentication, as I said before, it's a generic one. It's a header authentication. I have one set for perplexity, as you can see, and here's my data for SEO. And we're going to send the body, and the body content is not using fields below, but using JSON. So let me, just for the interest of time, I'm going to copy and paste the what we need to send back in our HTTP request. So what is wrong with that? I don't know why there is an error there. I'm gonna put the limit back here from here. And that seems to have fixed it. Okay, so that's going to call this API that is for keyword suggestions, and it's going to bring back suggestions based on that JSON that we just put in there. So I'll go ahead and test that. And we have one item output, and here's the output. Okay, finally back. Now we're going to split out related keywords. Just duplicate that. Split out. Okay, so we have our input, our task, results. I thought I clicked that. And yeah, okay, so now we've got our output. So we've got 50 items, which is what I asked for. So that's 50 keyword suggestions. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate this node because it's the same. Alright, so we've got a lot of red here. I need to set these to the correct thing. So monthly search volume. Okay, yeah, so you got to do a little digging. Type. This type is actually hard-coded suggestion. Monthly search volume. That sure does seem wrong. Search intent. Competition. Petition, there we are. Keyword difficulty, CPC. Might as well do that while I see it. Cost per click. The keyword itself is up there. And the keyword difficulty, where is that at? So if I can find it, difficulty, keyword difficulty, there it is. Okay. So that should have got everything. We'll test this step. And now you have the 50 items output. Okay, now we're going to add those keywords to our Google Sheet. And this is going to be in the sheet itself, the tab inside the sheet. So we've got most of the things already set correctly, except for this. It's going to be keyword suggestions, and now it's going to ask us to map all of that again. So I'll do that real quick. So from the main keyword, we've got that. Type, we have type, the keyword itself, not the main keyword, but the keyword suggestion. Monthly search volume, that minus 23 looks strange. I may have grabbed the wrong field. Search intent, commercial, keyword difficulty, competition, and cost per click. I'm not sure why I even did that. And then this will run that part of it and put all of that data into the sheet related, or no, into the keyword suggestions sheet. And then there's one more node. I'm going to save while I can. One more node, which is the Google Sheets node, to add these keywords into the master sheet within the sheet. Which this should be set already. It says master all keyword variations, match each column manually, and then yeah, that should all do it. I'm going to run that. And now I'm going to go back here and show you what has been happening. So as I've mentioned a couple of times, I'm creating a new folder and a new spreadsheet inside the folder, and you can see here that there are two folders with the same name, and certainly that's not anything you would take into production. But what happened there was I did this folder was created, the second one, during the demo. And then when I started building the workflow, I used the same keyword AI SEO. So my workflow created another folder with the same name, and it also created a Google Sheet with the same name. But you know, for now and for demo purposes, I think that's okay. And what you see here is, you know, as I said, we started off with the related keywords, and that part of the workflow was already built, so it added all of those to this tab of the Google Sheet, and then we built this part, the suggestions for the keywords related to AI SEO, or I shouldn't say the word related, the suggestions for keyword AI SEO. I'm sure there's something, I must have grabbed the wrong field here, because monthly search volume is not negative for that keyword, I'm sure. I can check into that, but as you can see, generally it's up to date or correct. Everything else looks good. So that's that's the workflow, building that one main node. Let me go back to it. Building this, and then the original workflow just has this same set of nodes for related keywords, keyword suggestions, ideas, people also ask, and a couple others. I don't remember them all. And so it's pretty modular, and if you wanted to use it to get other keyword data, you'd have a basis for that. So that's the end of building this part of the workflow, and just want to wrap the video up. Okay, it's obviously pretty small. So yeah, let's go ahead and wrap up. As I said, that's the end of part one, keyword research. Part two, we will look at a workflow that takes the keyword research and turns it into something valuable, and that is content creation opportunities. I'll show you how to find quick wins. So those are keywords that have high search volume and low competition. Authority builders, so they're high search volume and high competition, but possibly needed to build authority for your site. And then a semantic search content opportunities, similar to the suggested subtitles that was part of the other workflow. Part three, I'm going to use n8n and Apify to scrape YouTube comments to get ideas for content creation. I've already built that, and it's pretty cool. I'll give you a lot of ideas, especially if you want to build n8n related content. Then part four, which I've also built, is an auto blogging workflow that takes these ideas that came out of part one and two and creates blog posts. I decided to go blog post first because that gives me a basis, or gives us a basis to create other content, which is where part 5 comes in, and repurposes these workflow, or repurposes these articles and creates a YouTube script, or if you have YouTube script, it could create an article. And social media like Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and all of those sort of posts, and LinkedIn posts. So a neat little flow here: research, getting ideas, more ideas from a slightly different angle, writing about them, and then repurposing. So thanks so much for watching. Please, if this content was helpful for you, please consider liking and subscribing. And if you are interested, I'd love to work together, either collaborating on content or a work project. So thanks again for watching. I'll see you soon.